you're tired of those cookie-cutter package deal vacations and are looking for some great offbeat and some romantic getaways, Peter Guttman has some suggestions for you in his new book called Nights to Imagine. Peter, good morning. Nice to see you.
Good morning, Katie. Good to be here.
So why did you write this book on offbeat travel locations?
Well, I like to celebrate the spirit of imagination, and I've always tried to avoid those cookie-cutter, prepackaged, formulaic vacation destinations. They're just so much of the same thing. And so I've kind of gone to the opposite extreme, and over the last decade, I've been scouring the back roads of America, trying to dig up those rare gems that evoke a transcendental quality and whisk you away to another dimension of romance and adventure.
Wow, sounds great. Calgon, take me away. Now, there are 32 lodgings in this book. I imagine you visited some that you didn't include. Am I right?
That was the difficult part, which places not to put into the book, because there are so many splendid and magnificent places that are just begging to be discovered.
So maybe you can write a second book and include some of those.
We're in discussions now with the publisher.
Now, you have a real cross-section. Let's talk about some of the neat places that you talk about in this book. One is Gem Peak Lookout Tower in Montana. Tell me about that.
Speak about a cabin in heaven. This place is extraordinary. It's on top of a 6,000-foot high mountain called Gem Peak. You get a 360-degree wraparound view of infinity with mountainous silhouettes that stretch all the way into the distance.
It costs $25 for 4 people, but there's only one single bed, so you have to bring sleeping bags, right?
That's true. But if you do the math, that does come down to about $6 a person if you have all 4. Which
is a pretty good deal.
You see extraordinary sunrises and sunsets at night. Shooting stars arc through the sky, and in the morning you wake up, you see deer and elk browsing at the base of the tower. It's
Sounds
amazing.
Like fun. A second location is the Lake Powell houseboats in Arizona/Utah. This appeals to me.
Right. Here you get to chauffeur your own floating apartment through a geologic layer cake of sandstone cliffs that rise in these extraordinary shapes and end in box canyons and inviting coves. It's a real Huckleberry Finn adventure.
How long do you take the houseboats out generally?
Usually about a week or so.
And how much does it cost? Is it
between
expensive?
about $700 and $2,000, depending on how many rooms that you take on the houseboat.
But that's for the week, not per day.
That's right.
Okay,
That's
good.
right. And you can split that with friends.
Now, there are a couple places that are just downright quirky. One is the USS Massachusetts. Tell me about that.
This is in Fall River, Massachusetts, where Lizzie Borden was from.
Took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks.
That's
true.
She
saw what she had done. She gave her father 41. Okay, sorry.
That's right. Anyhow, here you can stay on board the USS Massachusetts. You don't have to enlist in the Navy to do this. You get to experience KP duty and chow down in the mess hall. And as you could see, sleeping there is an off-the-wall activity. Here we are bedded down like sacks of potatoes in the bowels of the ship.
That's your wife below you, I should
is.
mention. Was it fun? It doesn't look very comfortable.
It is a lot of fun, and you know, it's a bit of a nostalgic trip for some World War II veterans that come back with their grandchildren and family reunions.
That's a cute idea. Tell me about the Jailhouse Inn.
The Jailhouse Inn, I guess if you have a bit of larceny in your blood, you can enjoy a bit of this penal institute, and it's a lot more pleasurable than you might think. You get to spend some time with jacuzzis and rocking chairs and handmade quilted comforters and television, and it's a kind of interesting vicarious experience hearing those bars clanging shut behind you.
This is in Preston, Minnesota. Do they make
southern Minnesota.
Do they force you to make license plates or anything like that?
No, none of that.
Okay, good. Tell us about the Jules Undersea Lodge in Key Largo, Florida.
Jules Undersea Lodge is located in the Keys near Key Largo, near John Pennekamp, which is a beautiful destination for snorkeling and scuba diving, and you have to scuba dive down into this lagoon teeming with parrotfish. You wake up in the morning to a bedside staring competition with barracuda and other fish that are swimming by your porthole.
But it's not for the claustrophobic.
It's absolutely not for the claustrophobic.
There's a shoe house in York, Pennsylvania. It has an interesting owner.
This is a real storybook place. It is a rather immense concrete hallucination built in the rolling foothills of the Alleghenies in southern Pennsylvania, and it was built as an homage to footwear by an eccentric shoe manufacturer
with
to promote his shoe business.
That's funny. All right, the Treehouse Resort in Takelma, Oregon?
In Takelma, Oregon. This is a real Swiss Family Robinson destination where you can swing like Tarzan from the trees, but spend some quality arboreal time up in the trees with a family.
Quality arboreal time.
That's right.
And real quickly, we're looking at the Sunday Bay Chicky, is that what it's called?
These are stilted pavilions in the middle of the Everglades. You have to canoe through a labyrinthine maze of mangrove swamps to get there, but it's an extraordinarily peaceful place, very beautiful.
Lots of alligators and mosquitoes. That sounds like torture to me.
Well, it is one of the most unique ecosystems in the world, so I think for the naturalists, they'd really enjoy it.
Just bring lots of calamine. And finally, we have a woman bathing in a champagne cup, which is indicative of all those cheesy but charming honeymoon romantic getaways in the Poconos.
Oh, so innovative and imaginative. This is one of the, this was actually the place where the first heart-shaped pool was invented at Cove Haven in the Poconos.
So for pure kitsch, you can go there, right?
For kitsch, and some people go there for second honeymoons as well.
Yeah, and was that your wife in there?
I believe it was.
Was she naked?
Well, you'd have to put that up again to see.
I think she's naked.
Yeah, she is.
All right. Peter Guttman. The book is Nights to Imagine. I had so much fun looking at it and fantasizing about a vacation.
Thank you, Katie.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
And we'll be back in a moment.